feel blessed, that's evident. I'm the best I've ever been. So if they ask you how I feel, what's up? I'ma tell you I feel amazing. I feel blessed, that's evident. I'm the best I've ever been. So if they ask you how I feel, I'ma tell you I feel amazing. I'ma tell you I feel amazing. I feel blessed, that's evident. I'm the best I've ever been. So if they ask you how I feel, I'ma tell you I feel amazing.
Ladies and gentlemen, how y'all doing today on this Wednesday, October 25th, 2023? It's a Wednesday evening. I know I usually do this a little earlier, but I wanted to have some things to do, so I want to bring it down to tonight, make some things happen and whatnot. But I'm your boy, the Playmaker down the silence here, ready to talk some college football with you good people. And let's get to it because we're going to have some fun today. And it's pretty much the final week before November gets here. And then the real fun begins with college football. Also, it's the last show before Halloween. So Halloween's next Tuesday. With that being said, but hey, let's get to it. We got a lot to get into. So let's go ahead and let's jump into the 2 minute drill. And to kick off the 2 minute drill, Michigan passes Georgia as betting favorites to win the CFP championship. Now, when did this happen? I know Michigan is looking good. They have dominated every game they have played, but who have they really played? And you can say the same thing about Georgia, who they really played, but they have a big game coming up this weekend that I will get into when we go on our campus tour, as you know. But I'm still trying to figure it out. I'm still trying to figure it out. What are we doing? Who is going to supplant all these people that are voting here that says that has Vegas saying Michigan's the favorite to win it all. It's gonna be very interesting to see here, but until otherwise, Georgia should be number one and should always be the favorite until otherwise proven wrong. Okay. Good luck to Jim Harbaugh, especially with all this science stealing that's going around on Michigan anyway. Nevertheless, we shall see because I don't know what's going on up there in Michigan because the NCAA is out to get Mr. Harbaugh. And that could play a major role how this season turns out because you still have some big games on your schedule left there, sir. So it's a lot to be proven. Like I said, we ain't in the month of November yet. And then when we do get to the month of November, then the fun begins, okay? So we should see how that goes. Moving on. Miami's quarterback Tyler Van Dyke, good to go against UVA, coaches say. This is a good thing for Miami because I'm gonna get to UVA when I go out Great Colorado because they pulled off a major upset on the road. So if I'm Miami, I want all my starters healthy, ready to go for this game because this one may not be so quite as simple as it may have been 2 weeks ago after what Virginia did. And speaking of which, when is that game? That game is. I'm looking at it right now. So Miami has a bye week, so they don't play them till next week. Actually, nope, they're showing me the wrong thing. There we go. Live research, people. That's a 3:30 game on the ACC network on this Saturday. Miami better be careful. Don't overlook this Virginia team. This Virginia team put up a bigger upset that I'll get into later. Also, UCLA coach Chip Kelly not naming starting quarterback versus Colorado. This is some gamesmanship here by Chip Kelly. Chip Kelly's like, nope, I don't know who's starting. I have no idea who I'm going to choose to start this season off, this game off against Colorado. Some gamesmanship by Mr. Chip Kelly over there when he has a home game against Colorado. That should be interesting to see, interesting to think about. This is something that's likely to see what's going on and see how Chip Kelly plays his thing against Deion Sanders. So it's going to be interesting to watch this one, okay? Moving on. Texas quarterback Quentin Ers showed out. Malik Murphy likely to start. This is not good for the good people of Texas. It's not a good thing because they say he might not just miss this game. He might miss a couple of more games, which is not good for Texas. You're already behind the eight ball because you lost to Oklahoma. So not having Quentin Hurts, that could be problematic for Texas. Okay, and let me see who Texas have next. Because Texas, they have BYU this Saturday. They talking about at least probably 2-3 games. They talking at least 2-3 games from what I was last time I looked at the news. So BYU, Kansas State, and TCU. This could be problematic at the wrong time for Texas. This is not the type of time to have this kind of injury, this major injury, should I say, to your starting quarterback if you're the Texas Longhorns. This could be a big problem here. So we'll see. I haven't heard nothing about Archie Manning yet. They're saying Malik Murphy likely to start. Worried about Archie Manning, but this is a big one for Texas. Let's see if they can hold it together. And then finally, Army set to join the American Athletic Conference for football. Sources say Navy game intact. This happened earlier today around 8:40, close to 9 o'clock in the morning today. That the Army Knights will be joining the American Conference for football only. Okay, football only. They'll still be in the Patriot League and all the other leagues, including basketball, but for football only, the Army Knights, the Army Black Knights, will be a part of the American Athletic Conference starting next season. It says here that Army will serve as a replacement for SMU, who is going to the ACC starting next year. This way, it keeps the American Conference at 14 teams. The football only edition follows a similar arrangement to Navy, who is also part of the Patriot League in all other sports except for football. But speaking of Navy, ensuring that the long-standing rivalry between Army and Navy is played at the end of the college football season was an important detail to solve as part of Army's addition. What they are saying is when they play each other, Army and Navy would not be a conference game, which is interesting because both of them in the American Conference. So I was trying to figure out how this would work. So it says here the Black Knights and Midshipmen would not face each other in a AAC regular season conference game, and the rivalry will continue as a non-conference matchup. In a scenario in which Army and Navy finish in the top two in the conference standings, matching them up in the league's title game, they will play each other in back-to-back weeks. First for the American Athletic Conference title, and then in the rivalry game the following week, the sources say. Quite interesting. And also to it, it says here that a tradition matchup with Air Force in early November will stay part of Army's football schedule. So the Commander in Chief's Cup will still be intact. All three schools, the Air Force, the Army, and the Navy, will all play each other, even though Army and Navy will be both in the American Athletic Conference, and Air Force will be in the Mountain West Conference. They're keeping it intact, and they're keeping the annual Army Navy game at the end of the regular season intact as well. So this is interesting development here that we have here. It's good to see they are keeping some traditions together, and rightfully so, because Army and Navy is a tradition that most people like to watch, and that's in that early December window. They keep intact, they keep informed and whatnot, and salute to the men and women who serve in all three academies. Appreciate you. So that will be it for the 2-minute drill. When we come back, We have a gridiron roundup to get into, and a major one because I got to stick a foot in one of my conference picks. I'm not thrilled about that, but I got to do what I got to do. We'll be back.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of Cowboys Talk.
The Dallas Cowboys got exactly what they deserved. Let me say that one more time, because you know it's true. The Dallas Cowboys got exactly what they deserved.
Dak Prescott is overrated and he shouldn't be paid, okay? And the same thing with Pollard. I mean, Pollard breaking the tackles at that 57-yard touchdown run. I mean, we needed that
beautiful.
big time.
33 points in the fourth quarter. Let me say that again. 33 points in the fourth quarter. And that's off of 4 turnovers committed by the Colts. See, at one point, and the fact that at the end of the third quarter, it was 21-19, and the final score was 54-19. Now that, ladies and gentlemen, that is completely unexpected.
Cowboys Talk is available on all streaming platforms, including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, and YouTube.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Bearing Down the Gridiron here. Shout out to my boy Isaac, who's on vacation, and he should be back shortly because, his Cowboys is coming off a bye week, and I'll get to that when I get to my next commercial break, and I'll tell you why he's on his way back. Because, yeah. Anyway, now that we're back, boy. Now I gotta go. I do not want to do this. I really don't. I don't want to do this, but I have no choice. It's the Gridiron Roundup. All right, let me just this real quick. There we go. And to begin our Gridiron Roundup, let's take a recap of our Canberra score from last week. Alabama dominates second half over Tennessee to win 30-20, dropping the Vols to 5-2 on the season. From Tuscaloosa, we went to Eugene, Oregon, when the Oregon Ducks were trying to bounce back from disappointing loss in Seattle to the Washington. They came home to face the other team from Washington State Cougars. 38-24 was the victory for the mighty Ducks. Let's go down to Miami, Florida, Hard Rock Stadium, where the Miami Hurricanes played host to the Clemson Tigers. Whoever lost this game, their season was done. And as you can see, end of overtime, ladies and gentlemen, 28-20. There's more that I have to say about this game a little later. Sticking in the ACC from Miami, Florida, let's take the trip all the way up to Tallahassee, Florida, the capital of the state of Florida, where the Florida State Seminoles coming in undefeated, ranked 4th in the country, looking to go to 7-0. They was hosting Duke 5-1 on the season, ranked 16 in the country, one of the most surprising teams of this year. Duke blew it. I ain't grab it because I ain't want to do that. But I'm gonna tell you this right here. I'm gonna tell you the turning point of this game. Because the fact that Florida State won by 18 is not an indication of how that game went. Because Florida State was not even winning this game for most of it. Okay, so let me go here. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna break it down for you real quickly here for Florida State. Duke jumped out to a 10-0 lead before Florida State got on the board to make it 7-10. Duke scored right after that on a pick six by Chandler Rivers in the second quarter, making it 17-7. Florida State responds, making it 14-7. They kick a field goal. And right before the half, Duke kicks a field goal to go into halftime up 20-17. Nobody scored in the third quarter, so we go into the fourth quarter with Duke up 20-17. Duke is up 20-17. Now, let me tell you the turning point of this game. We are in the fourth quarter, ladies and gentlemen. We're in the fourth quarter. They made Florida State punt. Duke gets the ball at their own 39. They get all the way to the Florida State 7-yard line. Okay? They have a 4th and 3. You're on the road. You at Doak Campbell Stadium against the 4th-ranked team in the country, undefeated. You're at their 4-yard line. You're already up 3. It's 4th down. Are you going for it or are you punting it? Duke decides to go for it. Harry Blandon, the fourth, passing complete to Jalen Calhoun. Turnover on downs. And then from that point forward, ladies and gentlemen, Florida State scored 3 consecutive touchdowns. It literally went after the turnover on downs by Duke, it went touchdown Florida State, Duke punt, touchdown Florida State, down by turnover on downs by Duke, touchdown Florida State in the game. Duke, you had your chance, but you blew it. You had your shot, but instead of you kicking the field goal to go up 6, you went for it, didn't make it, and Florida State ripped off 21 straight points on your ass. That's what you get. And speaking of what you get, let's leave Tallahassee. Let's go out west. Let's go to the Pac-12, and let's go to Los Angeles, California, because it was University of Southern California hosting Utah and a massive Big 12 showdown, 14 versus 18, and for the second consecutive week in a row, the Trojans of USC took an L, and for the third consecutive time, the Utah Utes is the one that gave them the L. They whooped your ass twice last year, and then they went to your house this past weekend and whooped your ass. Well, I ain't gonna say whooped your ass because you only won by 2, but Caleb Williams did not throw a touchdown. 24 for 34, 256, no touchdowns thrown. Wow, you telling me a backup in Barnes did better than you? He went 14 for 23, 235, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception. He the one who threw the interception. But yet USC lost the game. At the horn. Shout out to Brian Stowe who called that game, by the way. He listened to his brother. He listened to his boy. Told him to call that game. He called that game and he got to see a walk-off field goal. By the Utah Utes, ladies and gentlemen. The Trojans now dropped to 6-2 on the season. Their first conference loss of the year. While the USC Trojans, by the way, I should say, dropped to 6-2. First conference loss of the season. While the Utah Utes are 6-1. And still riding high right now. So shout out to them. And then, Game of the week takes us to Columbus, Ohio, where the Ohio State Buckeyes played host to the Penn State Lethal Lions in a top 10 showdown between 3 versus 7. It was a defensive game, to say the least. But in the end, ladies and gentlemen, it was the Buckeyes defending the horseshoe, winning 20-12. And that boy named Marvin Harrison Jr. Good Lord. 11 receptions, 162 yards, and a touchdown. And it was that touchdown that made it sure that Ohio State was leaving the horseshoe with a W. Good gracious. And yet again, James Franklin. You come on short on the big one yet again, sir. Yeah, remember when everybody was saying, hey, why don't y'all support James Franklin and the coach for Syracuse and the coach for Maryland, and we just throw Marcus Freeman in there? You know why? Because when this game comes up against Ohio State, you lose. You lose yet again, James Franklin. But another big time matchup, you come up short. First loss of the year, and it's a big one to the Buckeyes because now it's pretty much a 2 game. You need 2 teams to knock off Ohio State for you to even have a chance to win the Big Ten East, and yet you still got Michigan on your schedule to play. Just saying. Now let's get to it. Tennessee and Alabama. So Tennessee went into the halftime up 20-7, and as you can see right here, those who are watching, Alabama went off 27 unanswered in the second half. I told y'all Nick Saban had that game circled on his calendar. Y'all thought I was lying. Told you. Nick Saban was gonna come back, and it was at home, and he was gonna whoop their ass. And in the second half, Tennessee got their ass rolled. Tie. All in the second half on Tennessee's ass. Not only that. All right. Oh my goodness. Clemson when it went into the fourth quarter with a 10-point lead. Clemson is down in Miami, Hard Rock Stadium, and they have a 10-point lead going into the fourth quarter. 10-point lead in the fourth quarter. They got outscored 21-3 in the fourth quarter and overtime to lose 28-20. 28-20. Dropping Dabo Swinney and the Tigers to 4-3. And the worst part about the three part of that 4-3 is Duke, Florida State, Miami. All three are conference games. Which means Clemson cannot win the ACC. Clemson season is done. And I got to stick a fork in my ACC pick. Damn you, Dabo Swinney. I don't mind you losing to Florida State. Okay, at some point, Florida State was going to catch you. But damn it, you got your ass whooped by Duke in the first game of the season. And you lose a 10-point fourth quarter lead to Miami, who lost to Georgia Tech. Oh, Dabo. You are a disappointment, sir. The fact that you have won and you have dominated the ACC 8 of the last 9 years, and you can't make it 9 of 10 is disappointing. Duke, Florida State, Miami, they all own tiebreakers over you, and you can't do a goddamn thing about it. You're done. Clemson done. And my ACC pick is done. But we got more games to recap. As you saw here, as I told you, Utah with the walk-off victory, 34-32 over USC at the Coliseum. Walk-off field goal, 3 in a row over the mighty Trojans is the Utah Utes. They are the right team high, and they're looking to continue that ride high in their next game, which I'll preview with the campus tour. You already talked about Ohio State and Ohio State and Penn State. Michigan gave the Michigan State Spartans what they deserve, a 49-0 ass whooping in East Lansing. Tear that ass up, Jim Harbaugh. Tear it up. Even though people are trying to get you for sign stealing and whatnot. But he went into East Lansing. He whooped the Spartans' ass. Beat them down. And then you have, ladies and gentlemen, that is, what you seen is correct. UVA, 31. North Carolina, who's ranked 10, 27. Yes, what you see is right, ladies and gentlemen. Minnesota, 12. Iowa, ranked 24, 10. Yes, you had 2 upsets. But we got one major upset. The University of Virginia went to Chapel Hill and knocked off 10th ranked the University of North Carolina. North Carolina. In doing so, they rated a great performance by Drake May. 24 for 48. Actually, no, it's not a great performance. Oh, I lied. He only completed 50% of his passes for 347 yards, 2 touchdowns, and the interception. The game-selling interception, by the way. Hampton, 19 carries, 112 yards. Walker, 11 catches, 146 and a touchdown. It didn't matter because Virginia beat you. Virginia only had one win. They go to Chapel Hill and knock off the Tar Heels. What? The Cavaliers knocked off the Tar Heels in Chapel Hill. The biggest upset of the season. And I don't see anyone come closer to this one. To go into Chapel Hill against a top 10 team and Matt Brown leading the way, and you knock them off. Congratulations, Virginia. Your second win of the year was a top 10 victory. Good job. Amazing work. Man, for everything y'all been through, that is freaking stunning to see that happen. Whoop that ass. Clearly whoop that ass. Whoop. Mm. Now, for those of you who are ready to see what I took place, here's what I did last week, ladies and gentlemen. I finally got you a graphic. 4-2 on the year. 4-2 on the week. Lost the Trojan game and the Clemson game. Got my extra pick right, but that wasn't shocking whatsoever because it was Michigan and Michigan State. So you got me at 4-2 on the week. That puts me at 31-17 overall. A third consecutive extra point. I have 5 extra points now. See if I can make it 6 this week. So that's where we're at right there. That is our gridiron roundup.
The Playmaker Squad is sponsored by Lids, Locker Rooms by Lids. Shop hats and official sports gear at Lids. Lids, the leader and #1 destination for hats, gears, and everything that moves you. Make it a perfect shop for fans to find official sports hats, merchandise, and gears. Represent your team, your town, and your style with a snapback, adjustable, fitted hat, or beanie from thousands of college and professional teams. Browse the very latest jerseys and t-shirts for the best teams out there. Lids has officially licensed professional and college sports teams apparel and hats featuring the hottest brands and trends. Shop online or visit one of the 100 stores across the country. Locker Rooms by Lids.
LA Ram fans all over the nation, LA Ram fans all across the world. It took 21 years, but hey, the Rams are Super Bowl champions once again. Down at the Playmaker Silence here, longtime Ram fan, and the host of the LA Rams podcast called Ramley Talk. On Ramley Talk, I tell you how it is, the good, the bad, the indifferent. Coming with straight facts, with raw emotion, and an authentic viewpoint on the Los Angeles Rams. Don't matter what era you grew up in, it could be the Fifth Foursome era, the greatest show on turf era, and of course, the Super Bowl 56 champions that are currently the Rams. You can listen to Ramley Talk on all streaming platforms including Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, and YouTube. So subscribe now and get all the content that you can get on the LA Rams. Horns up, Rams house. It's LA Rams football.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Bearing Down the Gridiron. As you saw, y'all saw Ramley Talk. I need to update that part of it. But Ramley Talk, yep, Thursday. Tomorrow will be Ramley Talk. And y'all saw the first commercial break that we took. You saw Cowboys Talk. Well, guess what? The Cowboys and the Rams meet Sunday. That means the Bearman and the Playmaker have to do battle this weekend. And it's not going to be fun for me. It's not going to be fun for him either. He's saying the Rams going to win. I'm saying I don't even know where to go after what the Rams did this past Sunday, which I will get into tomorrow. And you do not want to miss Ramley Talk tomorrow. I have some torch words to use, okay? But that's tomorrow. Let's get back to the task on hand, and let's call this football. So, without further ado, let's go with your favorite segment of the show, Campus Tour. And to begin our campus tour, we are going to Lawrence, Kansas, ladies and gentlemen. Noon Eastern on Fox up in Lawrence, Kansas. It is the 6th ranked Sooners of Oklahoma, undefeated in the season. Now they are going to Kansas to take on the Jayhawks. The Jayhawks who is trying to bounce back, and they have been struggling as of late. But for those of my people who love to need their numbers are right now on this Wednesday evening. As of right now, ladies and gentlemen, we have here that the ESPN has the Sooners as a 87.4% chance of winning this matchup. Vegas says -10 Sooners. All things are pointing to Sooners in this one. We shall see if it stays true. Can the Sooners continue their roll on to dominating the Big 12 before heading to the SEC. From Lawrence, Kansas, let's head down to Austin, Texas. Man, we talked about earlier. There's no Quentin Ernst for the Texas Longhorns. Malik Murphy might be the starter. No word on Archie Manning. What's going to happen? Because BYU coming in feeling frisky about themselves. BYU feeling real good about themselves. Coming off that win last week against Texas Tech, 27-14. After taking an L at Texas Tech at TCU, 44-11. Now they at the big boys' house. They are at number 7, Texas, 3:30 on ABC. This should be a doozy. Who's going to start at quarterback for Texas? What is BYU feeling like? And oh my goodness, even with the news of the Texas quarterback not being available, they are still giving the Longhorns a 95% chance of winning this game. That means they have no faith in BYU. That is so disrespectful. Now BYU finna come in here and they finna play some ball down in Austin, Texas. Oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. I don't know. Vegas has it what? Texas 17.5. Ooh, even Vegas is still whirling with the Longhorns, despite the injury to Quentin Ertz. This could get very interesting now. A 3-possession favorite from Vegas. ESPN giving them a 95% chance, even though they don't have their starting quarterback. I might have to keep an eye on this one. I just might have to keep an eye on this one. I don't know. But hey, 3:30 ABC. Stay tuned. From Austin, Texas, we head down to Louisville, Kentucky. And a top 20 showdown in the ACC, 3:30 ESPN. Man, that 3:30 slot something serious, boy. Good gracious. We had the 18 ranked Louisville Cardinals hosting 20th ranked Duke Blue Devils. It's a big matchup. And if I go to the ACC standings real quick, and if I'm going to try to do that right now, let me go to the ACC standings real quick. This is a big game for both teams. Duke is 2-1 in conference play. Louisville is 3-1 in conference play. All right, now the standings look Florida State, of course, on top, 5-0, followed by Louisville 3-1, North Carolina 3-1, and Duke 3-1. Surprisingly, Virginia Tech is 2-1. Surprisingly, sitting at 5th, which is very concerning what's right now. But nevertheless, Louisville and Duke. This might be a hard fighting game because I'm pretty sure the Blue Devils feeling some type of way because they know they let that game in Tallahassee get away from them when they shouldn't have. But ESPN says 53.5% in favor of the Cardinals. Vegas says 4 for the home team. The home team -4. So let's see how that rolls. And then from the ACC of Louisville, Kentucky, down to Jacksonville, Florida. Duval! Right here in the city that I am residing in right now. It is the annual Florida-Georgia game, or if you're a Bulldog fan, Georgia-Florida game, whichever the one matters. The week is here. It is here, ladies and gentlemen. People are already downtown tailgating right now. They already got the RVs already parked downtown. It's already happening, and it's only Wednesday. We still got tomorrow, Friday, before we get to the big game, which is number 1 in the undefeated Georgia Bulldogs coming off a bye week, going against the Florida Gators coming off a bye week. Oh, it's going down right here in Jacksonville, Florida, ladies and gentlemen. And the last time these two teams faced off, it was a close game. And then Georgia pulled away. Close game, then Georgia pulled away. No Brock Bowers for the Bulldogs. He's going to be out for a significant amount of time. He's not in this game. What did Billy Napier do with his team in the bye week to get ready for the number 1 team in the country? What does Curry Smart say to his team to make them sure that they are ready for this rivalry game in the SEC East? Right now, on this Wednesday evening, October 25th, 2023, ESPN says 85.2% in favor of the Bulldogs. To the Gators, 14.8%. Vegas says 14.5% favor of the Bulldogs. Go Dogs. Over the Gators. It's quite interesting. You know, Georgia coming off a road win at Vanderbilt, 37-20. Florida coming off a road win over South Carolina, 41-39. This is a big one in the SEC East because if I look at the standings here, Georgia 4-0, Missouri right behind them at 3-1, Florida at 3-1 in conference play. A win by the Gators here changes the whole complexion of the SEC, not just the SEC East, but the entire SEC. Because if I remember correctly, Georgia still has to deal with. Hold on, let me see Georgia's schedule. Georgia still has to contend with Florida this week. They still have Ole Miss in Athens, and they go to Knoxville. This is literally, and they got Missouri. Literally, Georgia next 4 games is going to tell it all. They got Florida this week. Next week is Missouri at home, Ole Miss at home, and at Knoxville against the Volunteers. This is it. This is put up a shut-up time for the 2-time reigning defending champions. Back-to-back reigning defending champions who don't have their best player on the field in Brock Bowers because he's out with an ankle injury. If Florida pulls this off, Billy Napier will save his butt for the foreseeable future. If he keep it close, people against will be mad. But if he keep it close and push Georgia to the brink, I myself would not be harsh on Billy Napier. And a few people in Gainesville won't be harsh on Billy Napier because you know that is the number 1 team in the country. They are back-to-back national champions, okay? We know what the hell is when it comes to that team in the red and black. But boy, oh boy, if an upset is pulled off here, the world will be stunned. It won't be as big as UAB knocking off North Carolina because UVA only had 1 win going into that game, and that's their second complete win of the entire season. So it wouldn't be that big, for as you know, the magnitude of it. But then again, the magnitude of it, this is the Georgia Bulldogs, and they are the number 1 team in the country. They've been the number 1 team since the start of the season, and they are the back-to-back national champions. So I might have corrected myself on that one. But anyway. This is the big one. In the SEC, 3:30, CBS, Saturday. You know it's going to be. From Duval County in Jacksonville, Florida, to Lexington, Kentucky. Yes, we're going back to Kentucky, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to the SEC's Kentucky because it's the Kentucky Wildcats hosting 21st ranked Tennessee Volunteers. Speaking of Tennessee, which is a nice segue there. I like that. Tennessee's trying to bounce back after being embarrassed in the second half by the Alabama Crimson Tide. Since Kentucky lost to Georgia, they have not been the same team since then. So it's going to be interesting to see how Kentucky looks now because they haven't been the same team since that loss. It's been a different looking team of Kentucky, okay? You beat Florida, and then you took an L. You took a fat-ass L. I mean, a ugly L to Georgia and Athens to the tune of 51-13. Then you came home the following week and you took another L at home this time to Missouri. So Kentucky has been looking the same good, but you had a bye week. You had a week to gather your thoughts, get yourself together. Mark Stewart had enough time to make sure his team had its own straight. Now you got a pissed off Tennessee Volunteers team because they got their ass whooped by the Alabama Crimson Tide in that second half. They ain't even scored in the second half, and Alabama rolled their ass to the tune of 27-0 in the second half. So you know Josh Hubert is feeling some type of way. So with this one right here, we have ESPN says 71% in favor of the Volunteers. Vegas says -4 for the road team. Tennessee's favorite. Can they wake up and can they get it done? We shall see. And then from Lexington, Kentucky, we bring you the game of the week. And the game of the week takes us to the Pac-12 country, Salt Lake City, Utah, where game day will be residing at the Pat McAfee show will be there Friday. It is a top 15 showdown in the Pac-12, and this game has a lot of writing on it, ladies and gentlemen, because the loser of this game can presently call their season done. Because whoever loses this game, there is no chance of getting back into the Pac-12 race to make it to the Pac-12 championship game. So the loser of this one will feel the consequences of what Clemson felt today when I had to stick a fork into my ACC champion, which is the Clemson Tigers. The loser of this game will get a fork sticking to them next week because their season is done. And we're talking the number 8, the Oregon Ducks, versus the number 13 team, the Utah Utes. Oregon has not fared well against the Utah Utes in the past couple of seasons, especially 2 years ago when they got their ass whooped twice by the Utah Utes, when led to Utah winning their first Pac-12 championship. Then they repeated the following year and whooped the USC Trojans twice to win their back-to-back Pac-12 championship. This one is in Salt Lake City. Last time the Oregon Ducks was on the road, it was in Seattle, Washington, and they came up short. Now they must win every game henceforth. Oregon can't afford a loss. You have Utah Saturday. You go home to Cal next the following week. You have USC coming to you on the 11th of November. You got to go to Arizona State, and you finish the season against Oregon State at home. For Utah, on the other hand, Utah has it just as hard as that. Because after you get done with Oregon, you go to Seattle, the same place Oregon suffered their first loss, and you have to face the Washington Huskies. And then you got to go to Arizona. And then you finish it off with Shador Sanders, and Coach Prime coming in to Colorado. This game right here is devastating to the loser. Both teams sitting at 6-1, 3-1 in conference play. 3:30 on Fox. Told you that 3:30 slot is something serious. I told that 3:30 slot is serious. This is the game of the week, so I can tell you all the games the 3:30 slot. Let me give you the 3:30 slot. Oh, you have so many options at 3:30. You can pick and choose what you want at 3:30. You have Florida and Georgia. You have Oregon and Utah at 3:30. Okay. You have BYU and Texas at 3:30. All right, that's 3 games right there. Okay. You got Duke and Louisville at 3:30. That's 4 games to look at. Okay. Any other notable game? Hey, where Utah beat North Carolina, they in Chapel, they in Coral Gables this week. You might want to keep an eye on UVA Miami coming up. Okay, you see how that game goes. That 3:30 slot is something serious this weekend, man. So many games to watch. I don't know what to do, but hey, some money games to watch. But continue on because we have our extra point. I've extra point van vote with 80%, which is surprising to me because I had a lot of games on there. I even had a MAC game on there between the Battle of Ohio between Miami, Ohio, and Ohio on there, and 80% of the votes went to the Pac-12 when it's the UCLA Bruins hosting Coach Prime and the Colorado Buffaloes at Pasadena at the Rose Bowl. 7:30 ABC, ladies and gentlemen. We don't know who's going to be at quarterback for Chip Kelly's Bruins because he don't want to say who's going to be his quarterback. Travis Hunter is back for the Colorado Buffaloes. Shedeur Sanders is still out here throwing stupid behind numbers up, even though they are only 4-3 as a team. We shall see who will be at quarterback, but nevertheless, 4-3 versus 5-2 in Pac-12. ESPN says 83, close to 84% in favor of the Bruins. Vegas says we are giving the Bruins a 17. 17. Wow. Chip Kelly's getting 17 at home. Wow. That is a lot. That is a lot. Good Lord have mercy, that's a lot. Well then, that is the campus tour, ladies and gentlemen. One last break, and then we give you my picks, and we're going to head up out of here. We'll be back.
Paint Train Pipe Bomb Productions and the Playmakers blog are now both partnered with Fanatics. Fanatics is now your new home for all fan merchandise from the MLB, the NFL, the NBA, the NHL, MLS, NASCAR, WWE, international soccer leagues, and golf. Check out the links below for everyday deals on Fanatics.com.
And they jump right into the bear down pick six. Give me the Sooners. They're going to Lawrence, Kansas, and handle business and take down the Jayhawks. They keep their season undefeated and keep it rolling towards a Big Ten championship game. I got the Sooners. Next up on the docket, give me the Texas Longhorns, despite not having their quarterback. Despite going to a backup quarterback. Despite BYU looking good in the Big 12 in their first ever year. We still warm with the Longhorns, man. Give me the Longhorns. Hook 'em horns. Hook 'em horns. Give me Louisville to defend home turf. I don't see Duke bouncing back from that devastating loss to Florida State, knowing that they had the game in hand, and then you just let Florida State rip off 3 straight touchdowns to blow your ass out. I don't see how the Duke Blue Devils bounce back for that on the road again in Louisville, Kentucky, against the Louisville Cardinals. Give me the Cardinals to win that game. And then, despite everything that I said, despite my fandom, one thing I learned in this business, and I learned it from Lee Corso, I can't remember what year it was, but it was during the Tim Tebow era. And College Game Day went down to Tallahassee. And they just got time for Lee Corso to make his pick. He looked at the crowd. He told the crowd how much he loved Florida State. He's a Seminole through and through. And then he said, "This is business," and picked the Florida Gators. We're at Gator Nation. This ain't personal. This is business. Give me the number 1 team in the country. Give me the reigning defending 2-time national champions and the Georgia Bulldogs to stay unbeaten, to survive here in Duval County, to keep their season rolling for a 3-peat. I'm going with the Georgia Bulldogs. Hopefully I'm wrong, but I'm going Georgia. From Jacksonville to Kentucky, Lexington, Kentucky. Give me the Tennessee Volunteers. They go on the road. They bounce back because I don't know what's going on with Kentucky right now. They ain't been the same since I lost to Georgia. Give me the Volunteers to bounce back because they pissed off because they know they got their ass within the second half and they shouldn't have got their ass within the second half. Give me the Volunteers to bounce back. From Lexington, Kentucky to Seattle. Not Seattle, to Salt Lake City. Game of the week. Give me the Ducks. The Ducks will finally find a way to beat Utah. The Ducks will finally find a way to beat Utah. They will go into Salt Lake City. They will go in that damn building. They will handle business. Bo Nix will put his name back in the Heisman race. Even though his name shouldn't even be taken out the Heisman race to begin with anyway, because he ain't the reason why they lost to Washington. His name should be back in the Heisman race when he gets done with the Utah use. And then I asked the point van vote, which brought me to UCLA and Colorado. Give me Chip Kelly and the Bruins to defend the Rose Bowl with the love and passion that you're supposed to defend your home turf with. They will defend the Rose Bowl. They will handle business. And sorry, Coach Brown, but you will suffer your fourth loss of the season. That will put you at 4-4. I'm sorry, Coach Brown. I'm very sorry, Coach Brown, but I'm picking UCLA as my extra point. I'm picking USA as my extra point. Now to recap. I got the Sooners going on the road to beat Kansas. I had the Longhorns defending home turf against BYU, despite not having a starting quarterback. And I'm going with the Bulldogs. I'm picking in. This is business. Business says you pick to win. Give me the Bulldogs. I won't mind we getting this one wrong though, but I'm picking the Bulldogs. Give me the Cardinals to give Duke another loss. Give me the Volunteers to continue to hammer on Kentucky. Give me the Ducks to finally get rid of Utah for once. And then for my extra point, I got UCLA with this one. All right, that was the Bear Down pick 6. Thank you guys for tuning in on tonight. Thank you for watching. Thank you for support. Thank you for everything that y'all have done. YouTube, Facebook, X, LinkedIn, whatever you've been watching it. Thank you all. You can watch the playback right here on the YouTube channel, the Playmakers Blog on the YouTube channel. And you want to just listen to the audio version and not worry about the video version, it's available on all podcast directories. Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Pandora, whatever you listen to podcasts on, this will be available on there. For That being said, the Playmaker, I will see y'all tomorrow to talk Rams football. But for bearing down the gridiron, I will catch you next week to recap week 9 and get ready for week 10. Because when week 10 get here, it is the month of November. And you know it's nothing but big games after big games after big games on the way to the college football playoffs. Deuces. You just experienced Bearing Down the Gridiron, hosted by Donnell, the Playmaker Silence, in collaboration with Arch Football. Bear Down the Gridiron is sponsored by Lids, Fanatics, and Paramount Plus. If you enjoyed today's show and would like to make a donation, you can donate via Cash App at $the Playmakers at $the Playmakers. Remember, Bearing Down the Gridiron is available on all podcast directories, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, and YouTube. And for Apple Podcast lovers, leave us a rating review. Let us know what you enjoyed about today's episode that you're listening to. Tune in again next time for more Bearing Down the Gridiron, hosted by the Playmaker.